I'm gonna tilt it just a little bit more, like towers. This is the most mind-bending and difficult book I've ever read. So today I am reviewing Godel Escher and Bach. I recently bought this older version, this older cool version, but it says like vintage on it, which I'm not sure if this is like a reproduction of that, if that's the case. I got it for about $7 at half price, which is cool. This one I also got for free because of a gift card at Barnes & Noble. But this is the more modern cover. It's pretty cool, but for some reason I like the feeling of this one. Probably because it's less thick. Why is this one more thick? I think it just has a bigger intro or something. The truth is, I've not finished either one of these copies. But I've read and learned about this enough to make a review on it because it's that crazy. I was like, whoa. I asked AI to work on this, like to help me script this. This is so silly. It says, opening scene. Dramatic music playing softly in the background. The camera zooms in on you, holding the book, Godel Escher Bach. With a puzzled yet intrigued expression. I hope that one of those expressions like really convey that. I do have really great acting skills, so it definitely did. Anyway, have you ever picked up a book that completely blew your mind? Wow. Well, I have. And it's called Godel Escher Bach. Cuts back to Adriana, sitting at a desk with a book open, surrounded by notes and diagrams. So if you're ready to have your brain twisted, your perceptions altered, and your understanding of the world expanded, stick around. Fade out with upbeat music transitioning into the main content of the video. What this book is about, which is kind of hard to explain, but basically this guy, the author, I'll talk more about him later, asks how can something meaningless, how can a meaningless symbol get meaning? How are we able to look at ourselves and be like, oh, I'm me, I'm something. How can something become self-referencing from nothing? Like how can a bunch of carbon atoms, which is what I think we're made of, suddenly get like conscience and like know itself, realize itself? And it does this by weaving. Oh my god, I've not been looking at the camera. Oh, I'm so bad at YouTube. I should quit. I should quit after my first real video. Oh. So bad at YouTube, guys. It does this by like exploring math, music, visual arts, Zen Buddhism, more math, some physics, I believe. Mostly math though. Some like logic, I guess that's kind of the umbrella of math, but some logic. Logic and puzzles. It has puzzles in there. Number theory. Talks about, oh yeah, psychology, cognitive science. What we know about ourselves and stuff like that based on the science so far. Oh, artificial intelligence prospects. I have not gone to that. Strange loops. Church? Tarski. That's pretty cool. Look at me, still discovering this awesome book. And most of the book is really, really technical. Oh my god, my battery's about to die already. It's really, really technical, but interspersed throughout the book, there are these dialogues between a tortoise and Achilles, mimicking the style of Lewis Carroll's characters. And it explains some of the fundamental concepts of the book in a simple manner, which is true, it really does. The Little Harmonic Labyrinth is pretty cool. I'll talk more about these dialogues later, okay? But what makes this really, really, really hard is that I literally needed to watch an MIT course dissecting the book in order for me to break down this book, I'm gonna have to talk about the forms of thinking that's explored throughout this book. First off, we have, I'm basing this off the MIT Godel Escher Bach course that's on YouTube. I feel like that was the easiest way for me to understand it. So the first way is through isomorphisms, I think that's what it's called, where basically it's kind of like an equal sign, where they use like a visual example where asking like, what is the isomorphism of a skateboard and a car? And you can say that they both have 4 wheels, they both carry a person. You can, if you wanted to draw a map of both of them, you would have those traits listed on there, and then they can be mapped onto both of them. Then there's recursion, basically like a loop, or the way it's explained is as a recipe. Like if the recipe calls for you to whisk eggs, you would keep whisking and whisk and whisk and whisk and whisk, and you'll keep doing that until they're they seem well mixed. Anyway, let me go to the third one. Well, actually before that, the guide talks about the Sierpinski triangle, which is like, I'll put up a picture, but like you basically draw a triangle and then another triangle and then another triangle and then another triangle, and that's supposed to like represent recursion in a way. And the Fibonacci sequence as well, where you add the previous 2 numbers to get a new number, and then you keep doing that, like 1 + 1 = 2, and then 2 + 1 = 3, and then 3 + 2 = 5, 5 + 3 = 8, etc., etc. You can see my butt on the reflection of the mirror. That's funny. That's funny. That's really funny. You can see me right there. The next one is paradox, where there are 3 types of paradoxes, basically. The first one is called, I forgot what it's called, but I can give you the examples of each one that I remember. The first one was of Zeno's paradox, where Zeno, like a Greek guy, convinced people that movement wasn't possible, like motion was not possible, because of this one paradox where Achilles would have to run a race, right? Pretend like Achilles is about to run a race. In order for him to complete the race, he would need to run like halfway at first. And then he will need to run half of that, and then like 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 half of that. Forever and ever, because like you can't, there's no end to the halving process. He was like basically saying, hey, movement's kind of like an illusion, guys. You can't like prove that. But that was disproven later on because of the invention of calculus, which is awesome. The other paradox, it's like when things are both true and false at the same time. I think that's the third example, but oh, my book just fell. I just picked it up and put it in. Put it in. when things are both true and false at the same time. Like, this statement is false would imply that it's like both true and false, because like if the statement is false, then saying that this statement is false must be true. But if this statement is true, how can that statement be false? You know? Like, what? How does it exist? Why can't that exist? Another example of that is called the Barber's paradox, or Russell's paradox, where basically, say there's a barber. What he does is that he only cuts the hair of people who don't cut their own hair. So like, does he cut his own hair or does he not? Because if he cuts his own hair, then by definition he doesn't. If he doesn't cut his hair, then then he must, because like, if he doesn't cut his hair, he must cut his hair. Oh, isn't that crazy to think about? And oh my god! I'm just gonna leave it down. I'll take this spot. So like, look at me trying to look like aesthetic as fuck. Oh, look how the light is hitting me. That's so lit. Falsitical? Oh, okay. Now remember this, the example. It's like, okay, 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. You can argue that it equals to both 0 and 1, depending on how you do it. Oh my god, my battery's about to die already? What the fuck? This is bullshit. I'm gonna have to like record on my phone, because like I've been delaying this for too long and this is like not lit. Next type of paradox, infinity. I mean, infinity is just the concept of things going on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Formal systems. The formal system of math, and breaking that formal system through Gödel's incompleteness theorem, which goes into the next thing, which is Gödel's incompleteness theorem, like the GEB, Gödel. Gödel basically, there's like a cool video on it, but I kind of forgot about the incompleteness. Oh my god, the camera quality is so bad. Jesus. So, back to illusions or whatever. Fucking yeah, formal systems numbers. Basically, Gödel figured out that math is incomplete. The whole concept of math is incomplete. I forgot how he figured that out. The idea that all formal systems are inherently incomplete. All systems that talk about themselves are incomplete. He figured out that math can refer to itself. And because of that, it's inherently incomplete. Which is weird. That means that humans are incomplete. And the whole premise, like I said earlier, was that we can map that to ourselves. Like how our meaningless symbols, like numbers, and for us being like atoms and stuff, can refer to themselves. And that makes it inherently incomplete. Escher is sort of like a visual example of paradoxes and like weird loops. Like this whole thing is about weird loops. I think he made a second book because that's what the main point of this one is. And Escher, I'll put up like some pictures of him, of his work and stuff. Everyone's probably seen it before. Maybe I'll put up like some lesser known works. I wanted to do my makeup inspired by him actually, but that's a bit hard. But I've been personally inspired to the point of like actually trying to replicate some of his stuff in my work, in my art. I can do some cool thing here. Wait, this is kind of neat. Inception! Oh my god, this is so lit for this video. Just me talking to this, kind of like Inception. See me against me. Anyway, the next thing about what I'm talking about is this is so trippy, but I need to look at the thing. Can I zoom in on that somehow? That'd be so cool. So yeah, Escher makes some pretty cool stuff, and because of that, Douglas uses it as like a visual reference for what he's what he's trying to convey through his words, his words of wisdom. This is like making me brain fart. And Bach has some like examples of recursion in music. And I think in one of the songs that he's made, it's played at a different key at some point, but it's still satisfying at the end, which is like a trippy thing. The thing is, I don't know much about music, so I can't explain that as well as I like to, but it's pretty neat. Douglas Hofstadter is like a cool scientist. He's like a cognitive scientist, and I like his interdisciplinary approach to figuring out this question. He like combines his work plus philosophy plus the arts plus Zen Buddhism plus math plus a bunch of stuff to get into the nature of consciousness. So my thoughts so far on this. Basically, my thoughts so far on this is that it's really cool and like super sugoi, and I cannot wait to get through it bit by bit, no matter how long that takes. Oh, so long probably. But yeah, I'm super stoked. Can't wait to edit this video and talk more about it and talk more about it in post online. See if probably won't get a following because of the poor quality of this and my procrastination. Just not ready for that yet. It's not ready for that level of work to make a great YouTube video. It's what I've discovered through all my procrastination. You guys love my monotone voice? I hope you do. Anyway, goodbye.